Good morning. Welcome to the Crawford County Commissioners Work Session for August 7th. We'll start with the Hospital Authority, Mr. Swick.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
I'm here on behalf of the Crawford County Hospital Authority, and I thought since we have at least one new board member, I'd give a brief history of what the purpose of the authority is. There's a 5-member authority, and its purpose primarily is to provide tax-exempt financing for health centers and for health organizations. Usually in Crawford County, what we've lent to primarily is to Meadville Medical Center, Titusville Hospital when it was independent, and also Westbury. The authority has 5 members, which you folks appoint. Our current members are Stephen Keitlinger, Dean Fair, and Clark Hoffman from the western side of the county, and Joseph Roddy and Steve Carr from the eastern side of the county. The Meadville Medical Center, as has been its routine the last couple of years, has come to the authority and requested some financing again this year. The purpose and the benefit of the authority financing is it's tax exempt. And in order to achieve the tax exempt financing, we have to go through, as the authority, a couple different steps. One is you have to advertise for the authority meeting, which is coming up this Monday. Secondarily, the organization that establishes the authority, which is the commissioners, has to approve a resolution authorizing the lending and also sign a second document, which is called a certification of elected representatives, which Mr. Henry would sign on behalf of the commissioners. It's the borrowing of the medical center, which is not to exceed $12 million this year, does not create any obligation of this board of the county. All the obligation to repay the borrowing is passed through the authority onto the ultimate borrower, which is the Meadville Medical Center. So this doesn't create any debt on the county or the authority for that perspective, okay? So I'll come back with the resolution and the certificate of elected representative at your meeting after we have our meeting on Monday, so it'll come back next week, okay?
Very
Any
good.
questions? All right, thanks,
Thank you.
gentlemen. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Have a good day.
The Clerk of Courts. Morning, Patty.
Morning, Patty.
I'm here to request approval to purchase a new rapid print time stamper that we use nonstop in the office. It's a requirement to have. The cost is $1,385. The one that we have now currently is not working properly, and it's going to be over $900 to repair it. So I think it's just time to replace it. This does not come from the general fund. It comes from my automation fund.
Any questions for Patty? Thank you, Patty.
Thank you.
Thanks.
IT.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Hello.
IT is here to request the 5-year standard wild card SSL from GoDaddy for $1,649.95.
Any questions for
This
Tim?
is a budgeted item.
Thank you. Any questions for Tim? Thank you.
Thank you.
The Correctional Facility.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Morning, Jack.
This morning, looking to get ratified the approval for the jail to advertise for full-time and part-time correctional officers position with 7 Mountains Media radio station. The price is $400 a month for 5 months, and that'll play during the Pittsburgh Steelers games. Funding is to be provided from the commissary account at no cost to the county, and this is not a budgeted item.
Okay.
Secondly, approval of the purchase of a Risen Stun Dynamics Tac Stun Belt. The belt is a low-profile way of adding more security to high-profile and higher-risk transports. Purchasing price is $2,200, and this is to be funded by the jail's commissary provider.
Any questions for Jack?
Just on the 7 Mountain Media, has that proved to be to your advantage by, didn't you advertise before at
We
Pittsburgh
did,
games?
and we did get some people
Did
from
you?
it. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we have to do something
I know
out there.
you don't know for sure, but,
Right.
okay, very good.
All right, thank
Thanks.
you. Assessment, Mr. Gallo.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning,
Hi,
Joe.
Joe.
So I have a few items for you this morning. One of them is a $5,000 invoice from San Martino Stout and LaPresti for the Riverside Brewing consultation preparation and testimony for the July 8th, 2024 bench trial. And our budget for this year has been somewhat exhausted by what could be perceived a favorable outcome. But there was a lot of money into that. So we're reaching a point that we're probably going to exceed where we are, and of course, we have the whole appeal season to come before us there, so.
Okay.
We'll probably be on subsequent
Okay.
requests at this point. Item B is a tax refund for Carolyn Rogers due to a clerical error on parcel 1913-19 located at 14998 Maple Road in Lionsville, Pennsylvania. And the third item to come before the board is the annual retainer with San Martino, Stout, and Lepresti for appraising consulting services for the period of September 1 of this year to August 31 of next. These are the same terms and conditions as the original agreement, effective August 1991. As in previous years, the annual retainer will remain the same at $3,000 for the year beginning, again, September 1, 2024. The billing rate will be $200 an hour. This rate will be credited against the retainer. If any overages occur, same will be billed.
Any questions for Joe?
No.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
The courts. Morning, Heidi.
Hi,
Good
Heidi.
morning. We're seeking this morning first to ratify a one-year copier maintenance and supply agreement effective August the 8th for the judges' chambers machine. That would need signed today to be ratified next week.
Okay.
We already signed one before that needs ratified for the law library machine. That was done for July the 12th. We're seeking approval for a Tier 3 support plan with Mobilecom for the duress alarm systems in the MDJ offices. That agreement is a one-year cost of $1,816.26. And we're seeking approval for a Mobilecom maintenance agreement for MDJ Vernon office for cameras, et cetera, for $605.58, and that's a budgeted item.
Any questions for Heidi?
No?
Thank you.
Thanks, Heidi.
Public safety.
Morning, Greg.
Morning, Greg.
Asking you to approve the intergovernmental agreement between Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and ourselves for interoperability between the state police and the Department of Public Safety. This has been a long time coming. It's been in the works for at least 2 years that I've been working on this with them. It'll allow us to have radio communications from our dispatch consoles to their dispatch consoles in the event of an incident that involves multiple law enforcement agencies.
Excellent.
Okay. Approve the payment of $5,450 to MCM for continued work on the hazard mitigation plan. Again, that'll be reimbursed through PEMA.
Okay.
Okay.
We're asking for approve the purchase of some training and quality assurance software through Frontline Public Safety Solutions at a cost of $36.90. We use our wireless funds for that. It's not a budgeted item.
Okay.
And approve the payment of $54,000 to MCM Consulting for development and oversight of a request for proposal for the countywide digital emergency radio system.
Okay. Any questions for Greg? Thank you.
Nope.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
Thank you.
County maintenance.
Morning.
Morning.
Asking approval to pay Scobell Company to repair the AC unit in the IT server room here at the courthouse for $1,129.15.
Okay.
Asking to ratify approval to pay John Mauris Tree Care to remove 3 trees at the fairgrounds for $1,700.
Okay.
Asking approval to pay A.W. Farrell Roofing to make repairs to the gutters on the dairy complex at the fairgrounds for $6,332.
Okay.
Asking approval to award a contract to Micus Construction Corporation to rehab the concrete deck on Mercer Street Bridge number 16 for $724,510, and this will be paid for with liquid fuels money.
Okay.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Can I end with E? Because there'll be a
Sure.
maybe a lengthy discussion with that. Asking to ratify approval to pay Brian Noah, project manager for professional services, invoice 31 for June of 24 for $450, and invoice 32 for July of 24 for $621.
Okay.
Asking to ratify approval to pay Strongland Roofing for pay application number 3 for work done on the correctional facility roof for $601,015.73.
Okay.
And asking approval to pay Strongland Roofing for pay application number 4 for work done on the correctional facility roof for $121,412.34.
Okay.
Okay.
Back to letter E. Crawford County shares Bridge number 38 on County Line Road in West Shenango Township with Mercer County. Mercer County's engineer has suggested that it be closed and removed due to repairs that need to be done, but the bridge is considered redundant by the state, saying it could be other bridges could be used. The detour around isn't as long, so his suggestion is to close it and remove it. Crawford County agrees with that. West Shenango Township has come forward and said they want the bridge. They want to take ownership of the bridge. I think their solicitor came up with a contract that could be signed and approved and recorded. Mercer County appears to agree to it, and in that agreement, it appears they are requesting a possible one-time payment from Crawford County for them to take the bridge, maybe to use to make the repairs, and then they'll own it going forward. Looks like $20,000 might be what they're requesting. In my research, it looks like PennDOT, our municipal services rep, said he doesn't believe that our liquid fuels account money can be used to pay for a bridge that we don't own anymore, or to pay to get rid of it. It can be only used to make repairs, rehab, or replacement. So this is where we're discussing it, to see what the commissioners think. Keith, I believe you've reviewed it. Did I miss anything in that?
No, it just seemed like the only issue was the payment that they were requesting, and it wasn't clear from
Right.
the language that they used in it.
They just kind of left it
Was like
blank.
discretionary or?
Correct.
or whether they
Is
were
if it's a
expecting-
deal breaker or, right.
It wasn't clear.
So I'm not sure how that is.
I had some discussions with the Mercer commissioners at other meetings, and I'm amenable to giving them the bridge. I'm just not amenable to paying anything for them to take it. So I think they gave them $20,000, but I have no interest in that at all. If they want the bridge, I'm fine with it, but I don't see why we would pay them to take a bridge. So
Is this something that should now, there's no reason to bring it up at the meeting next week?
Keith, I
Or,
don't,
you see what I'm saying? Is this an end, or do now I reach out to them and say, hey, is this a deal breaker or not? Is that what
Probably
it?
not ready for any sort of action at the meeting unless you
Right.
find out.
I mean, we have a consensus, right, Scott? You don't want to pay them.
If they want a free bridge, we're not gonna pay them to take a free bridge.
So I'll work towards discussing that with them, if it's a deal breaker, if they'll just go ahead and forego payment, and whatever Mercer County decides to do, that's up to them.
And
Okay,
I do appreciate you taking me out there and showing me that, because obviously there is some headache for people getting around
correct.
to the detour, but it's definitely in disrepair. I mean, it definitely
Yeah.
needs some work.
It would not be a viable option to replace it in the future, being it's deemed redundant.
Right.
You can still, nickel and dime and keep plugging along, but eventually there's gonna be a pretty large repair, and you wouldn't be able to
Yeah.
do that anyways.
Yeah, I would just reach out and tell
Well, I
them.
think the detour was only like 3 miles. Wouldn't that,
Yeah.
isn't that what it was?
Yeah.
That's an inconvenience, but
I think the biggest thing, I mean, their defense, I mean, Mark and I agree that the use of farm machinery on 58 or wherever that road is,
Yes.
it's a state route that could be dangerous. We even experience ourselves. There's a little bit of
Right.
a knoll on the detour, so if you're pulling a tractor, if tractor's pulling a trailer or something, it could be a hazard, but I just can't give them money to take a bridge. So.
And it appears like PennDOT, federal highways and stuff aren't looking for bridge owners to replace redundant bridges.
And to be
They-
clear,
they
right,
kinda
we-
want them to be taken out like Hamilton Road.
We
have
receive
another one.
no liquid fuels money. You check
Correct.
So we don't.
In
we don't
researching, Mercer County has gotten it all.
Okay.
And they use their engineer to do all the,
I feel like
up
it makes
until
sense for
now,
them to
all
do
the
that.
inspections and stuff. So we've never gotten a nickel for the bridge. We're just part owners.
And it's also true that the Mercer County municipality does not want ownership of the bridge. They don't want to
Correct.
share
I
ownership.
think it's Green Township.
Green
They don't
Township.
wanna share it, so West Shenango would own the whole bridge.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let us know. Thank you.
thank you.
Crawford County Planning. Boy, did you hit the shaft of this one, huh?
Say what?
It's not too bad, I guess.
Oh, no, it's not too bad. Well, we'll see. Anyway, good morning. Requesting approval of payment to Ferguson Construction Company, reimbursement number 3, totaling $648. This is for training wages associated with the Workforce and Retention Program. Non-budgeted, and it is paid for out of the Whole Home Repair Program.
Okay.
Request approval of payment to Ferguson Construction Company. This is reimbursement number 1, 2, and number 8. It's totaling $1,400 for training wages associated with both the Construction Workforce Industry Program and the Workforce and Retention Program. This is a non-budgeted item. It's paid for out of the Whole Home Repair Program.
Okay.
Request approval of payment to R.E. Johnson Electric for reimbursement totaling $3,919.50. This is for training wages associated with Workforce and Retention Program. It's non-budgeted, and it is paid for out of the Whole Home Repair Program. Request approval to pay the final invoice number 184422 from HRG in the amount of $65,047.50. This is for engineering services on the East Branch and Knox and Kane Trails. This is a non-budgeted item. It's paid for out of the ARC Power Grant. Request approval to pay application for payment number 6 from, it says from Excel, it should say Excel Excavating, apologies, in the amount of $395,146.35. This is for construction services at Heidi Cooper Park. This is a non-budgeted item, and it is paid for out of the CDBG CV3 competitive grant. Request approval to pay the June invoice from Dyson Helmy Engineering in the amount of $4,501.57 for engineering services for Venango Borough's Carl Gurdon Park. This is a non-budgeted item and is paid for out of the county's fiscal year 2021 CDBG. We request approval of a grant contract agreement between Crawford County and East Meade Township for an Act 13 at-risk bridge grant in the amount of $9,749.23 for the Hatch Hill Road culvert replacement project. Request approval of a resolution authorizing a grant application to the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources peer program to seek an $18,000 award to conduct a countywide Parks and Recreation Authority study. We request approval authorizing a resolution for a grant application to the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development, DCED, Municipal Assistance Program to seek a $34,796 award for advisory guidelines for Crawford Inspired as required by the Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code. And we request approval of a resolution authorizing a grant application to DCED Municipal Assistance Program to seek a $48,910 award to initiate a Crawford County Blight Inventory Study. Any questions? All right.
Thanks, Sam.
Thanks, guys.
Good morning, Kristen.
Morning.
Morning. All right. Requesting to ratify the Human Services Block Grant Plan. The Human Services Block Grant Plan is due on 8/12, so we are seeking ratification. The goals of our plan this year are as follows. We are continuing with our LGBTQIA goal. We're transferring from the survey that we did last year to training after we received our survey results. So the group is right now working on providing training to the county with a focus on this training to service agencies. Affordable and safe housing continues to be a concern for the county. The group has identified goals of establishing protocol for warming and cooling center locations in the community in the event of severe weather. The group is also exploring services that we can bring in county to address hoarding. The group also identified a need for services to support single fathers in our community. We see a strong support to mothers, so we would like to work on that this year to include shelters that will take fathers and children. Requesting approval of the MATP Assurance of Compliance. This is the participation grant agreement with the Department of Human Services to provide medical assistance transportation in Crawford County. We have not yet received an initial allocation for MATP. Requesting approval of the purchase requisition to Leonard's Auto for repairs to vehicle number 38 for inspection. The total cost was $2,950.91. The cost to the county is $556.22. Requesting approval of the purchase requisition to Rory Bueller and Jean Hershey for travel expenses to move a child from Dayton, Ohio to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 7/23/24 to 7/25/24. The total cost for Rory is a maximum of $446.60. The cost to the county is a maximum of $96.65. Total cost for Jean Hershey is a maximum of $392.60. Cost to the county is a maximum of $84.97. Requesting approval of the purchase requisition to Sheila Thornton for travel expenses to the National Regional Children's Advocacy Center, MDT Academy Training, 8/5/24 to 8/7/24. The total cost is a maximum of $211. The cost to the county is $45.67. Requesting approval of the F1 amendment to the fiscal year 23-24 CYS JPO contract with George Junior Republic in Pennsylvania for the placement of a youth in their specialized TRACC program. We have a youth in placement in a group in Ohio. We need to move this youth back into the state of Pennsylvania per OCYF's directive. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 23-24 CYS JP contract with Hope's Haven Residential Services, LLC, for placement services. We have not contracted with this agency before, but we have a youth who's currently in shelter who may be placed with this agency in our very near future. Requesting approval of the F2 amendment to the fiscal year 23-24 CYS JPO contract with Justice Works Youth Care for their Violation Initiative Program, Short-Term Outreach to Prevent Placement Program, known as STOP, and the Just Care Program. This provider has been billing an indirect cost of 25% of billable units. It has been determined that this indirect cost component is not reimbursable by the state. Due to PA regulations, we cannot retroactively increase a rate back to July 1st of 2023. However, we have not reimbursed this provider since February 1st. Therefore, these higher rates can take effect as of that date. Requesting approval of the F1 amendment to the fiscal year 23-24 CYS JPO contract with Summit Academy for residential specialized setting and drug and alcohol services. We discovered upon receipt of our May invoice, this provider changed the location of several of their programs. This amendment is removing certificates from previously contracted services. The rates are not changing from the original contract. So it'll just change how they code, how they're labeling. Requesting approval of the C1 amendment to the fiscal year 23-24 mental health contract with Family Services of Northwestern Pennsylvania for multi-systemic therapy. We are adding MST to our mental health contract with Family Services. The rate listed is the current Carillon rate that CYS has also been paying. Requesting approval of the C2 amendments to the fiscal year 23-24 mental health contract with Hand in Hand Mental Health Services, LLC, for Prospect Street, Elm Street Homes, and the Challenge Center Psychiatric Rehabilitation Program. This amendment is decreasing both program maximums applied to the SEEDS program. Requesting approval of the C4 amendment to the fiscal year 23-24 mental health contract with Hand in Hand Mental Health Services, LLC, for the SEEDS program and the retained revenue plan. This amendment is increasing the SEEDS program maximum, but it's decreasing the retained revenue award. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 23-24 ID contract with Wood Services, Inc. for one-to-one staffing support. We first contracted with this provider in the middle of the fiscal year of 21-22 due to an ID consumer who needed one-on-one staffing support. While this was initially temporary need, the authorization for service was extended through July 31st. This particular consumer is in need of this service again for June 22nd through August 8th of 2024. So 2 fiscal year contracts are being created at this time to meet that need. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 24-25 grant contract with Center for Family Services for case management service. The total cost is a maximum of $15,000. Cost to the county is a maximum of $883. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 24-25 grant contract with Center for Family Services for rental assistance service. The total cost is a maximum of $74,500. Cost to the county is a maximum of $3,977.47. 47 cents, sorry. They should have numbered these. Sue has me flipping pages, and I almost lost track where I was. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 24-25 grant contract with Center for Family Services for the food pantry. Total cost is a maximum of $6,000. The cost to the county is a maximum of $320.33. Also requesting approval of the fiscal year 24-25 grant contract with Crawford County CASA, Inc. for court-appointed special advocates. The total cost is a maximum of $11,000. Cost to the county would be a maximum of $587.28. Requesting approval for the fiscal year 24-25 grant contract with Crawford County Drug and Alcohol Executive Commission for SAP Prevention Specialist Services. The total cost is a maximum of $15,500. The cost to the county is a maximum of $827.53. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 24-25 grant contract with Crawford County Mental Health Awareness Program for emergency shelter services. Total cost is a maximum of $27,500. Cost to the county is a maximum of $1,468.19. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 24-25 grant contract with Crawford County Mental Health Awareness Program for housing case management services. Total cost is a maximum of $20,000. The cost to the county is a maximum of $1,067.78. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 24-25 grant contract with Crawford County School of Adult Education for academic tutoring towards GED diploma services. The total cost is a maximum of $10,000. The cost to the county is a maximum of $533.89. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 24-25 grant contract with the Meadville Martin Luther King Jr. Scholarship Fund for their mentoring program. The total cost is a maximum of $12,500. Cost county is a maximum of $667.36. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 24-25 grant contract with the Titusville YMCA for their Tiny Footsteps program. The total cost is a maximum of $16,000. Cost to the county is a maximum of $854.22. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 24-25 grant contract with the United Way of the Titusville region for their Center for Financial Independence program. The total cost is a maximum of $6,500. The cost to the county is a maximum of $347.03. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 24-25 grant contract with Women's Services for the greenhouse. Total cost is a maximum of $16,000. The cost to the county is a maximum of $854.22. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 24-25 grant contract with Women's Services for their Child Abuse Awareness Program. Total cost is a maximum of $10,000. Cost to the county is a maximum of $533.89. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 24-25 grant contract with the YMCA of Titusville for case management services. The total cost is a maximum of $12,500. Cost to the county is a maximum of $667.36. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 24-25 grant contract with the YMCA of Titusville for rental assistance services. The total cost is a maximum of $28,500. Cost to the county is a maximum of $1,494.89. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 24-25 grant contract with the YMCA of Titusville for the St. James House Shelter. Cost is a maximum of $12,500. Cost to the county is a maximum of $667.36. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 24-25 CYS and juvenile probation contract with Bethesda Lutheran Services for foster care, group home, ITU, shelter, and Right Start for Young Mothers programs. These are the same services that we contracted for in the fiscal year 23-24, with the exception of kinship, non-case management, which are new levels of care for this fiscal year. Requesting approval for the fiscal year 24-25 CYS and JPO contract with the Child to Family Connections for foster care services. These are the same services that we contracted in prior year. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 24-25 CYS JPO contract with Families United Network for foster care, group home, emergency shelter, and diagnostic evaluation services. These are also the same services that we contracted in for fiscal year 23-24. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 24-25 CYS JPO contract with Pathways Adolescent Center for residential, complex cases, aftercare, diagnostic, and psychological evaluation services. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 24-25 mental health contract with the Grapevine Center for startup costs. Grapevine Center is our new provider for our mental health satisfaction surveys as of July 1st. We have agreed to fund up to $4,500 of their startup expenses. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 24-25 ID contract with Wood Services, Inc. for one-on-one staff support. This consumer is in need of service again for June 22nd to August 8th, so 2 fiscal year contracts will be created at the same time. Requesting approval of the fiscal year 24-25 professional contract with Common Roots for the Chris Bell Furniture Closet. The maximum will be $50,940. The cost of the county maximum would be $2,719.63. That's it.
Is that all?
That's all.
So a couple questions on the YMCA. Do they have embedded caseworkers in Titusville, or how are they handling this program?
Yeah, it's not caseworkers, like in the actual YMCA. Those case management services we pay for are what's associated with their housing.
Okay,
So they're at the shelter, they're housed there, and they do, housing, they help with, any of the social determinants of health, like the food, helping people get linked to services in Meadville. If they need to, even like the transportation back and forth, because there's not much always there that they need
okay.
to access.
I just wasn't aware of that. And
Yeah.
the Grapevine Center, where are they gonna end up being at?
They ended up, getting I think they got 2 suites in the Masonic building, like right where Casa is
Oh,
across from. Yeah.
okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Finance?
Good morning.
Morning.
For your approval, I have the following invoices. The first is correction, the first is a contract. It is a contract with Maximus US Services. It is our cost allocation plan, and it will be effective through 7/31 of 2027.
Okay,
It's just an extension of what we've been doing for the
Okay.
past few years. Next is an invoice to the Titusville Airport Authority. It's their 2024 budgeted allocation in the amount of $3,000. Third is the Community Health Services. It's their 5 of 2024 MATP trip reimbursement, invoice number 176, in the amount of $73,248. And the fourth is to Crawford County Drug and Alcohol. It's the January 1st through June 30th, 2024 county match, invoice number 062024-county match, in the amount of $14,336.76.
okay,
And then for ratification, I have the following invoice. It's 2P Chip, invoice number 181065-0. It's our August 2024 health insurance in the amount of $632,203.38.
thank you. Any questions?
No.
Thank you.
Human Resources?
Good morning.
Good
Hi,
morning.
Brittany.
I'm just requesting ratification for the agreement between Crawford County and AFSCME Local 2643 for the period of January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2026.
Oh, sounds great, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, man. Gina, you handling the treasurer's?
Yes. She's requesting ratification of the payment of bulk postage to Government Software Services for the mailing of 2024 per capita bills for Titusville Wards 1 through 5 and East Fairfield and Union Townships. The amount is $2,266.12 for 3,752 bills. at a bulk rate of 0.603977 cents per bill. This is a budgeted item. The next is a request for approval to pay the city of Meadville for half the share of postage and mailing of the 2024 real estate tax bills in the amount of $2,100.37, also a budgeted item. And last, she's requesting approval to pay the city of Meadville for 1/3 the share of the city treasurer's office wages for collection of county taxes from January 1st of '24 through June 30th of '24 in the amount of $21,245.33, also a budgeted item.
Any questions for that?
No, thank you.
I can continue?
Okay, and for commissioners, we're requesting ratification of the policy for the anonymous requesters with regard to open records request. It's now posted on the website in 3 different locations, all nearby the links of submission for open records requests.
Keith, can I ask a couple questions about that? So, can you just kind of give me a little bit of a background to other counties where the policy is as long as you have a policy in place, you don't have to respond to those? I just haven't had a chance to look at it.
Yeah, the right to know law authorizes counties to fulfill, it says they may fulfill an
Okay.
anonymous request, but many counties don't do that. So the right to know, the Office of Open Records in Harrisburg recommends that if you're not going to fulfill them, then adopt the policy and post it on the website. So many counties have done that. And
Okay.
adding into that.
And it's just so, like, just name only, is that what I'm assuming that they, or is it you have to, that you're checking, a lot of people provide emails, but they have to actually provide some type of,
Yeah, there are websites out there that facilitate people submitting anonymous records requests. They will generate a phony name
Okay.
for you and then allow you to submit it under that name. And then, the address that the records are sent to, I think, is not the person's real address, and then they get forwarded to them from that address.
I see.
So counties are taking the position that if they can't verify that the person is a real person with a real address, then they're not going to
Okay.
fulfill those requests.
how's that gonna go for you, like, for addressing, for identifying that someone's a real person, how are we going to do that?
So we have several avenues to do that, but specifically, I think one of the things that we talked about, and the reason why we didn't want them going and be submitted to that bulk phony email is that opens us up to susceptibility. And so the IT department agreed that that was a wise decision for us to not accept those. So there are, which are yet to be, for us to discover, but there are some ways that have been provided by the listserv link, that we can go about verifying whether people are,
Okay.
real or not, but this was the first step in securing our side.
I'm amenable to it, I just didn't understand. Thank you. Okay, Gina, go ahead.
Requesting ratification of the 1-year copier maintenance agreement with Haven Business Machines, for the machine copier in our office.
Okay.
And then I have some notifications. The first is an Act 14 notification from Beecher and Meadville Flat Glass for a Chapter 102 permit, plant expansion and PDES permit. Includes the construction of an air products site, electrical substation, ramp enclosure, water line relocation, electrical existing substation, and surface waters receiving stormwater discharge in an unnamed tributary to Williams Run in Greenwood Township. Second is notification from Heather Peterson for a permit to allow discharge of treated sewage to surface waters, and/or construction of facility. Discharge will be to French Creek in Wayne Township. Notification from James and Tabitha Full to amend the current individual permit for a single resident sewage treatment plant to allow discharge of treated sewage to surface waters in West Shenango Township. Notification from Amber and Jason Giacomo for NPDES permit for single resident sewage treatment plant to allow discharge of treated sewage to surface waters in Beecher Township. Notification from Dyson Helmy on behalf of Wayne Township for Chapter 105 permit, minor road crossing for the proposed Frenchtown Road roof replacement project in Wayne Township. And notification from Mary Belisky to amend the current NPDES permit for single resident sewage treatment plant to allow discharge of treated sewage to surface waters in Summerville Township.
Any questions?
No.
Okay, upcoming events, just to take note, the next full session is actually scheduled for Thursday, August 15th. There's a required safety meeting the commissioners attend for the Crawford County Fair, which includes, emergency management and an update on the process and the plan we always go to, so we do adjust that meeting to Thursday. Then the next work session is August 21st, Any public comment? Commissioner comments, Commissioner Shell.
The fair and carnival season is upon us. A lot of local communities have a lot of stuff going on, so travel a little bit and see what you can find. If you're coming to Cochranton, bring your life jacket. A lot of water down there. But other than that, support your community and go out and see what's going on. That's it.
Thank you. I'd just like to take a second to recognize the sheriff for allowing one of his deputies to go to Spartansburg last night for their National Night Out event. The people in Spartansburg were happy to see a Crawford County Sheriff vehicle for once, they said, and not on other days, so that was good. And Vicki does a good job with interacting. So also to the OES, to the Department of Public Safety, they brought the MERV up there also and had two dispatchers who came and actually handed out material and information about applications and how to become a dispatcher. They asked some good questions, and it was just nice to have the county go to the northeastern part of Crawford County, and they really appreciate it. So hopefully we can do some of those things in the future. If there's no other business, we will see you next Thursday at 9:30. Thank you.